Hello and welcome to Tapping Tuesday. This is Dawn, and thank you for joining. And if you would like to tap along, I really encourage you to do so. And if you do tap along, then just knowing that you're taking responsibility. And so I come on and I give these little tapping demonstrations. And of course, this is just meant for educational purposes only, not as individual therapy for anyone. That's what one-on-one sessions are for. So glad you joined. And sometimes we just are going through our day, things are going well, and then sometimes something happens or someone says something or acts a certain way that we may get triggered. And we're all human, most of us, and we're all going to get triggered from time to time, and that's normal, and it happens, and it's okay. Sometimes it's just okay to not be okay. And I think people sometimes go around thinking, oh, they have to think positive thoughts all the time, but sometimes these things happen, like triggers happen, because something deeper within ourselves is needing to be healed. Whether that's not feeling seen or not feeling heard or not feeling loved, or sometimes there can be a deeper meaning. So just notice, if and when you do get triggered, kind of notice, like, what is it that you need? What is it that your emotional system needs? Is it someone's attention? Is it love? Is it compassion? Is it balance? Is it you just need to go out and take a walk or get out in nature and ground yourself? Whatever it is, just really be cognizant of why you're being triggered and what emotional need feels like it's unmet. Whether you feel like your opinion doesn't matter. Like when I got triggered the other day, I felt like my opinion didn't matter to this person, and they were just, it was their way or the highway. So that's how I got triggered. And but really looking at that moment or that experience or that relationship with that person, and figuring out, what is it that I feel, what emotional need do I feel is being unmet? And then, just sitting with that for a moment and thinking, how can I give that to myself? Because sometimes, we can't always control what other people do or don't do. What we can control is our reaction and response to it. And so that takes some practice. And so let's go ahead and start tapping, starting with the karate chop point. And so before we tap, we usually want to get a level of intensity. Obviously, you want to know what you're tapping on first. In this case, we're tapping on getting triggered and how to reduce that. And then, so I would say when I got triggered, it was pretty high. I would say it was like a 9 or a 10. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 meaning none at all, just notice where you are starting out, okay, with the karate chop point. Even though I got triggered by this person and it really hurt my feelings, and then I got angry, or however you felt. And if whatever I'm saying doesn't resonate, feel free to insert your own words. I deeply and completely honor and accept myself. Even though I was going about my day and I had a feeling this would be a challenging interaction, I got triggered. And I allowed myself to get triggered because obviously something there, some emotional need was not being met, and I got triggered. And then I ruminated about it for hours and I had a hard time sleeping, but that's just how I coped with it. And in the future, I'd like to do better, and I'd like to stay in that trigger state for a lesser amount of time and be able to release that energy so I don't ruminate about it. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I got triggered by this interaction with this person, I forgive that person for triggering me, and I forgive myself for getting triggered, because it's not fun to be triggered. It's uncomfortable, and I got angry, and then I could feel myself getting worked up, and I let my emotions get the best of me. Remembering that I'm only human, and it's going to happen from time to time. And either way, I deeply and completely honor and accept myself. Inside the eyebrow, yep, I'm human and I got triggered. Side of the eye, and this particular person has a history of pushing my buttons under the eye, and I seem to get triggered easily when I'm around this person or speaking to this person. Under the nose, and I want to look at that. Chin point, I want to be curious why I get triggered. Collarbone, and take a look at that deeper emotional need that for some reason hasn't been met. Under the arm, and perhaps I need this other person to help me meet that emotional need. Under the chest, or perhaps I only need myself to meet that emotional need. Inside the wrist points, but I did get triggered. Top of the head, and then I got a little bit angry. Inside the eyebrow, and upset. Side of the eye, and I stayed in that triggered mode for longer than I would have liked to. Under the eye, and I got a little anxious over it. And under the nose, from time to time, I tend to get triggered by this person. Chin point, but I know it's up to me to balance my emotional system. Collarbone, I need to take responsibility for investigating and being curious as to why I got triggered. Under the arm, because that's my responsibility. Under the chest, I'm responsible for my emotional well-being. Wrist points, and I hope in the future that I will be less triggered by this situation or by this person. Top of the head, and I want to look at that deeper emotional need that wasn't met. Inside the eyebrow, I got triggered. Side of the eye, yes, I'm only human, and I got triggered. Under the eye, and I don't like getting triggered, it's not fun. Under the nose, it doesn't feel good, and I got upset and angry. Chin point, and it kept me from sleeping. Collarbone, but perhaps I keep getting triggered by this person or situation because there's an underlying need that's been unmet. Under the arm, and then I need to give that emotional support to myself. Under the chest, I need to have compassion for myself and this other person. Wrist points, even though it seems so, I don't feel like this other person is really trying to trigger me and piss me off. Top of the head, but sometimes it feels like it's always their way or the highway. Inside the eyebrow, which can be really frustrating. Side of the eye, but it's up to me to be curious and investigate why I'm getting triggered. Under the eye, and give myself that self-care and self-support. Under the nose, or perhaps I can talk to this other person and let them know what I need. Chin point, I can voice how I can be supported by them. Collarbone, having good expectations that'll be met with love and compassion. Under the arm, so I want to release this feeling of being triggered. Under the chest, I want to take responsibility for my own well-being. Inside the eyebrow, and should it happen again, I choose to take a deep breath. Top of the head, I choose to remember that this person cares about me. Inside the eyebrow, I choose to give myself and this other person more love and compassion. Side of the eye, remembering that everyone is just doing the best they can with the information that they have. under the eye, including myself, under the nose and this other person, chin point. So I choose to be curious and do my own investigating. Collarbone, and give myself elevated feelings of self-worth and self-acceptance and self-love. Under the arm, I choose in the future to be less triggered. Under the chest, and I choose in the future to be in that triggered mode for less time. Wrist points, I choose to let it go. Top of the head, and I choose to be kind to myself. All right, take a deep breath. Okay, so just checking in with your number again. If you'd like to put in the comments where you started and where you ended with a short tapping demonstration around being triggered. I started at about a 9, and I would say I'm about down to a 2 or 3. So you can keep tapping until you get to a lower number and bring more of the I want and I choose statements, choosing positive statements for yourself and continuing to tap. And when you do take a deep breath, it's always a really good idea to breathe in through the nose and then out through the nose or the mouth, because as breathing in through the nose, you're activating that parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is a system you want to activate when you want to get out of that stress, anxiety, and triggered mode. And that brings you, it gets activated to bring you back into that calm and relaxed state. So thank you so much for watching another episode of Tapping Tuesday. Again, my name is Dawn. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or send me a direct message, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.